welcome to the Sim Effects Infinity GT Manufacturer Series Season 5, League 3 around St. Croix A in France. Fictional tracks, not real life. Go for the grid quickly. Not too many rounds to go now. Yeah, and things are spicing up. So going through the grid quickly, we have, sticking it on pole, they had a good qualification, to be honest with you, is Nate Fletch. In first position, his teammate Rob Smith in second, myself in third, El Cazador Chachillo in fourth, Guidon in fifth, Kiwi in sixth, Slow Seamus in seventh, Pilgrim in eighth, RMA in ninth, Beamer Man in 10th, P1 Winnie to the rear in 11th position. 3 minute 5 laps there or thereabouts, 50-minute endurance. Just run the racing medium, racing soft for a minimum of 3 laps. We are driven, it's okay not to be okay, mental health awareness, digital car culture, check them out as well, Vinci decals, Sim FX as well. Been a good season, yeah, season 5 League 3, so perfect jump from me there. I sort of split the, let's go back up a minute, sorry, I'm not with it in a minute, so go on myself, let's go in car with myself. Now, these two bogged down at the start, and I thought, yeah, there's the gap in the middle, let's go for it. So I seen that gap and went straight for the middle. They dominated qualification, and I thought, you know, I'll get you at the start, and I did. Bit of contact there with Chachillo entering turn number 1. But we still have Rob Smith behind in third position. Slow Seamus up to fourth in that Mercedes, nice looking livery. RMA in that Aston Martin should be strong around here. Guidon in seventh, Pilgrim in eighth, running a bit wide onto the grass, a bit of tyres, bit of grass on the tyres now, so that's going to affect his well, the grip on that car. So here we go. I'm leading away, but I got Chachillo behind me in second. And I thought, right, it's going to be one of these races where I'm going to have the Porsches and the Jags all around me, up my bum, etc, etc. I had a bit of a moment there coming out of that turn, so that enabled Chachillo to get P1 off of me. But yeah, this left-hander coming out now, tricky. Hug the apex as tight as you can, don't run it too wide on the exit into that gravel because it will spin you out. This left king, and then we go down to the heavy braking section on the right. It's not really heavy. Drop it down to third or whatever. Don't run it too wide on the exit. This bit here down to Chillo, he backed off way too early, so I seen that opportunity. I just dived down the inside. I seen him, he was a bit slower into that right hander, so I thought, right, you know, I'm a bit quicker than you into there, so I just sort of a dive. It wasn't a dirty move, nothing like that. But now I got Mr. Rob Smith trying to make up P1 as well, but no, you know, he tried it round here, but he backed out of it, fought better, but he got the jump there onto Chachillo, and Slow Seamus is actually following Rob through there. So I've got Chachillo in third, Robin in fourth, the pole man Nave down in sixth for the minute. So Nave did have a great start to the race, but you know, 50 minute endurance, 3 minute laps. Yeah, it was a long old race, but it was enjoyable. Let's go further down. Let's have a look at Kiwi. Had a good season this season. I think he's Mr. Race or 2. Good on there as well, is 7th in the GTR. Winnie was standing in for Baggy. We got P1 Pilgrim in 10th position, and Beamer Man couple of races in, and he's Slow Seamus' teammate. So up front we go. I'm leading the way. We've not even completed lap number 1 already. I'm extending that gap to Rob Smith. So Rob Smith in second, well, we're on the first lap, so it doesn't really count. St. Croix, slow, fast, you know. It's quite a tricky track. Once you got the grips of it, it was okay. Rob Smith here, still battling between me and him in the title. And we've got Nate slowly making his way up as well. Another win or 2, I should secure that. Monza, thereabouts, or Interlagos. So I get a win at Interlagos. We'll wait and see. I do apologise for the delay of getting the replays out. As you know, I've got a lot on at the minute, and it is quieting down now. Feeling a lot more better, feeling more myself. And yeah, hearing some sad news from Saturday as well. Just quickly, mental health, you know, speak out, don't suffer in silence. My son lost one of his friends at the age of 17 on Saturday after the England game, and it has affected my son really, really bad. So he's my #1 priority at the minute. So anyway, back to the race. Mental health, please, 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 just speak out. Don't suffer, don't suffer, don't suffer. So myself leading away, but let's go back to here because we've got Chile, but we've got Nath slowly making his way up now. Nathan sixth at the beginning is now up to 4th, and his teammate is in 2nd position. So Chichilo's in a bit of a sandwich at the minute, and we've got Slow Seamus. Slow Seamus in 5th, doing a good old job, but he's got to watch out for that GTR behind him. So Slow Seamus in that Mercedes is one of the fastest, I think it's the fastest top end in the Group 3 category. I may be wrong, I may be chatting rubbish, but that's what I hear a lot. But the GTR isn't as slow and he thought about to move down the inside then, but he didn't quite do it. Let's see what he could do, go around this right-hander. A lot of people seem to back off, and that's a perfect opportunity to do an overtake, just dive down the inside. So these gentlemen here, they're doing okay, you know, they're staying flat around that right-hander. RMA lost a little bit of ground, but he's got the Beetle. Now the Beetle, it would do okay. It will do okay, don't get me wrong, but it will suffer on the straight. As long as the Beetle's in the slipstream, it'll be alright, because then you can save that fuel more. As you can tell, he's using quite a bit of fuel already. And nice move there from Kiwi down the inside of RMA. Did he pull that move off? RMA, no. Oh, he does actually. Still down the inside of Kiwi. Kiwi up to 7th. RMA down to 8th. Winnie with his fellow P1 Pilgrim Chapo in 10th. Having a bit of an issue around this race. Let's see what he can do towards the end. Long old race, 15-minute endurance, 5 minutes in, 45 minutes to go. The gap between me and Rod Smith is 3.9 second gap. It stayed around that margin for quite a while, but Rob Smith and Nath, so Nathan 4th position. With these battling, I did wonder why the gap extended, and now I know why. Constant battle between these, and Slow Seamus half second penalty, burn them off within 2 laps. You know, don't do longer than 2 laps, you will incur some sort of penalty. And obviously run the racing medium, racing soft for a minute 3 laps, and you know, you don't get penalty enough like that. It's all good in the hood. League 3 been really, really good this season, and the racing, the respect between each of the drivers, yeah, we've lost a few, but apart from that, you know, it's been really, really good. It's been really a good season. We head on to, I think it's Monza, then we head on to Interlagos, then it's the Nürburgring 24-hour for the final race of the season. But football's getting in the way at a minute. Now I keep hearing it's coming home a lot. I don't know if they mean the cricket team or anything like that. I'm not quite sure what they mean. But anyway, you know, England doing well. Fair play to them, you know. England are doing well. But Rob Smith in the 2nd position. He's still, but Nath down the inside there of Chachillo. Nice move there from Nath. And Nath, so it's Porsche 2 and 3. And Slow Seamus onto the grass. So he needs to be careful around his left-hander. Dirt on the tyres will affect the grip on that car, but yeah, he's still in 5th, Slow Seamus, so he's not giving up. Guidon there, Guidon. I keep saying Guidon, but it's not, it's Guidon. Yes, finally, Darren, like Vicho last season, you got it towards the end. Slow Seamus in 6th, so that going onto that grass has now affected the grip levels on the tyre. So now he just needs to get that dirt off the tyre and just concentrate and get back up there if he can. RMA in the Aston Martin. He's been solo since he joined, actually. Like myself, the BMW Sarah Exit dropped out quite early in. He'd done 2 races, so I've done it on my own, but I'm trying my hardest to keep the BMW at the top. Manufacturers, I won't do that. Drivers, I'm going to try, but we'll wait and see. Winnie there in the McLaren 650. With P1 Pilgrim in like Kiwi down to 10th now, so Kiwi's struggling around here, but he's sticking out. P1 Pilgrim as well, quite a way back now, so P1 Pilgrim, you know, on the racing soft, saving that fuel as well, see how far I can go into the race. And yeah, up we go, because myself, I've got that gap now. It's around about 5-second gap. We'll confirm that now. Well, 5.6 second gap, but Nath is up to 2nd now. So Rob has let Nath through, so Nath can now put his foot down a bit and chase up to me. Catch up to me, sorry, if he can. We'll wait and see, we'll wait and see. Chachillo in 4th, so he's lost a few positions, but watch out for him towards the end of the race. And this gentleman here, Slow Seamus. RMA isn't too far away, and RMA, he's put his head down now, he's concentrating, and he's closing that gap between him and Slow Seamus. Winnie as well. Winnie, after a lap or two's finally got the grits of the track as well. Pilgrim isn't too far away, and unfortunately Kiwi is struggling in that beetle, but never give up, never give up. Racing soft, a lot of them starting on the racing soft. Yeah, everyone's starting on the racing soft. The quicker tyre at the start, do the slower tyre at the end. And the end, it's quite interesting. I can't remember the whole of the race, I remember bits of it. So onboard lap we're gonna do with is we're gonna pick, for a change, we're gonna pick this gentleman here. Let's go on. So he's sitting behind 4, so we get his point of view of where Chachillo can extend that gap between him and 5th place, and where 5th place can gain it. So we're now start timing line, turn number 1. Don't run it too wide onto that AstroTurf, so you will pick up a penalty. Right kink coming up now, flat out section this. So keep it close to that curb as you can. And flick it down a couple of gears to 3rd gear. Keep it in 3rd. He opts 2nd just to balance that car as you see in the rear end watch kick out. This bit here, keep it in 3rd if you can, which he does. Hug that apex, send that out wide. Get as tight as you can to that white line for this corner coming out now. Brake, down on that accelerator, coast in if you can. Lift off that accelerator, it'll manage the car more into that corner. This section now as well, lift off, keep it really tight, which he does. Be careful not to get a penalty, and then we pull it out to the right, and this one here, the left hand, don't overrun it because you can go into the gravel, especially on the exit. What does he do? 2nd gear, steadies that car in, a little bit onto the gravel, you see what I mean? The back end wants to kick out, but he controlled it, so he's lost a bit of ground to Chachillo now. This right hander coming out now. 3rd gear ideally to settle that car, and then this section here is flat out. No need to lift, nothing like that. He does drop it down a gear. You can run it in 4th, and then up to 5th you can run it flat. It does send you out a bit wide on the exit. A lot of camber around that corner as well. So we've got a bit of an incline. Then we drop down slightly, so you can see the elevation in the track in certain points. So now we're going up to the twisty, it's an S section. Drop it down to 4th, but keep it flat if you can. Run this curve, 2 wheels over that curve, flat, and then to the right here. You can almost do it like in 5th gear flat, but it's if you've got the confidence in the car. This one here, drop it down to 2nd, keep close to that apex, just steady the car to the rear on the exit, so we'll have a tendency to have a bit of a wiggle on the exit. So this one here, drop it down to 3rd, keep close to that apex as you can, camber again around this corner, and then we head over the bridge, head over to the bridge. The sector coming up now, so he's closing and losing that gap between 4th place, but behind Slow Seamus, you can see Slow Seamus behind, and he's losing a little bit of ground. This bit here, 3rd gear ideally, keep it in 2nd round this bit, stay the car, don't run it too far over that curve, so it's quite high, and the front wheel, quite possibly spin the front of the car out. This one here, keep it in 4th if you can, and then up it to 5th, just to keep close to that apex. You can see the car wobbling, you can see how that car's wobbling there. And this bit here, drop it down to 3rd, close that, I kept missing this apex, close that apex as you can. Not too far to go now to the final part of this lap. Dip down again, you can see the elevation change in this track, there's not a lot, but there's some. So this one here, keep it in 4th if you can. You up to the 3rd and run it out, and then to the start timing line. His lap time is a 3:06.599. That is a lap by P5. Good on there. Very good job, very good job. So Seamus in 6th. So Slow Seamus did gain a bit of time, but he lost it in places, and 5th place has extended it, as you can see. RMA losing a bit of ground, but he's extending that gap between him and Winnie. Pilgrim in 9th, and Kiwi in 10th position. Opting to go into the pits, is he? Yep. Use a bit of fuel in that beetle, and it does. Short shift there to like just below halfway, you can save a lot of fuel. 3:04.476, the fastest lap done by me on lap number 3. Nath The time gap between me and Nath is 5.3, and Rob's a further 1.1. So sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, that's their best. Like, or it's the fastest. The purple is the fastest of the race so far, but the green is they're improving on their lap. But sector 4, Nath has got the actual fastest sector 4 of the race, and Rob's got the fastest sector 2. Interesting, that. Interesting. So they were quicker around the middle part of the track, which is understandable. MR car, you know, compared to the BMW. Now, I was quite frustrated because the BMW is only 6 speed, the Porsche is 7. So along the straights they were getting such an advantage because I was like hitting the rev limiter in 6th gear. So the Porsche should have the advantage over the BMW. The Jaguar as well is a good car. It's a good car. The Porsche is okay, the Group 3, but they do a lot better than Group 4. Group 4 will be the final out at Monza. Let's see how they get on. Let's see how they get on. Because I know with the Group 3 they can't save as much fuel. I don't know about the Nissan. So Seamus and the Mercedes, I know you can save a lot of fuel in that car. The McLaren, oh, what has happened here? Let's go back with RMA. On board now with RMA. Oh, a little bit late braking there for RMA, and that's hitting to the rear of Winnie. But he's done the right thing, RMA. He's waited. You know, he hasn't carried on. He's realised what he's done. Sportsmanship there, and that's what you do. You know, it saves all the arguments, and away they go again. You know, let's restart and battle away again, and that's what's happened. You know, that's what's happened. All this bickering and arguing, there's no need for it. You know. So myself, you know, I keep saying myself, but I don't want to go on about myself. So Nath has got a penalty, and now Rob Smith can quite possibly capitalise from his teammate. Remember, he wants all the points he can get, Rob Smith, and I know Nath is closing that gap, but you know, if I was Nath, I would let Rob go and then Nath just follow Rob. But it sounds like to me they're lifting, well, Rob's lifting and he's saving that fuel. So yeah, I think Nath is pushing it a little bit more. Let's go in car with Nath and see. So yeah, he's pushing it more, but if you look at Rob's rev limiter, he's not pushing it as much. This right-hander. So Nate's still got that bit of a penalty, so he needs to get rid of it on this lap, because that was 1, this is 2. But behind Chicillo's just maintaining that gap between, sorry about the flicking the camera, between the two Porsches. So Chicillo is only, I'm saying Chicillo, he's only 1.5. I know it's Alcazar, but this is his American account, and we know him as Chicillo. So blue sector for him. This is fastest sector of the race so far. So again, the Porsches are extending that gap a little bit. Yeah, so I lost a bit of ground there, didn't I? I lost for like 2 seconds. I think I hit the grass or something like that. I can't quite remember. But on to lap number 6. Pit stops will be happening soon. They're saving that fuel. I mean, Rob's using more than Nath. Yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, because the first round of pit stops, racing soft, racing medium, what you're going to go on, it's your choice. You've got to run that racing medium no matter what. Chicillo got to get to the end of this lap to pit, and he's only around about halfway into this lap. So that's interesting. 5th place is gaining to the rear of Chicillo now, so 5th place can see Chicillo, and so Seamus now unfortunately has lost a bit of ground to 5th place, and you can't see him now. Tyre wear, left front tyre having a bit of wear on that tyre, so maybe that's having a bit of an effect on the car. P1 Pilgrim up to 7th now. We're winning, RMA having that bit of coming together, you know. I go back to it, RMA done the right thing, and that's enabled P1 Pilgrim just to go up to 7th. Kiwi now out to the pits, hoping to close that gap to RMA. So what is that time gap? 12-second gap. Interesting. What can Kiwi do? So pit stops happening now. I don't know how far Nath will go. I can't remember what happened. I think Nath does pit as well. Then we've got Rob Smith in 3rd. just sitting behind his teammate. They were doing this all race, I noticed, you know, until the end, just helping each other. Because sit behind the car, not only are you saving that fuel, you're also managing your tyres as well. So you're not using as much wear on the tyres. But the lead runner, as you can tell, Rob is behind Nave. So Nave is the lead runner. Nave's got more tyre wear than Rob. So that's helping Rob. And Rob, you know, what's he going to do? Change the tyres? I know he's going to refuel, but he ain't got a lot of wear. So we all opt to jump into the pits. So yeah, we're all diving into the pits and to Chillo. So we're all basically going. I don't know if Slow Seamus goes into the pits. And we'll wait and see. He's going to have to anyway. He's flashing red on that fuel. So he's into the pits. Pilgrim, he'll be coming in soon, but he's a bit far away. So we'll be battling with the likes of Winnie and RMA and Kiwi come the end of the race. So pitting now. I did opt for the racing soft again. I didn't go for the racing medium. That was for the final like 7-8 minutes thereabouts. So I'm released now, and Nate's still in the pit. So they were trying to keep a grip with me. So you can hear the engine out of the car. So when that car's released from the pits, it's like, right, you know, I'm going to go as well. I'm going to follow you. So this is how it was all race. I had these two, Nate and Rob, just behind me all race, and it's like, right, I need to push a bit to extend that gap. And if I extend that gap and I push and push and push, I'm going to overuse the fuel. I'm going to overuse the tyres. So Nath, this point now, I know Nath was pushing it a little bit more, because he realised he did close it in the pits. Fair play to him, 2.3. This is what I mean. The Porsche had the advantage over the BMW around this track. It was a lot better. It had the 7 gears. MR, you know, mid-engine car, better in corners. The BMW will suit more tracks like Interlagos and tracks like that. I mean, Nürburgring 24 hour, it will suit more the mid-engine cars, I would say. So the BMW, it might be alright. I know BMW is renowned for Nürburgring, Nordschleife 24 hour track, Sabina Smiths and whatnot. I know it is going to be good around there, but I just feel that mid-engine cars had the advantage around the longer tracks. That's just my point of view. So, going back to this, Rob Smith is bit of a gap between him and Nate. So Nathan's extending that gap in the pit stops, but this man here, Pilgrim, yet to pit, so he's not in the fight of first, second and third. But Chachillo is. So Chachillo has lost a bit of ground as well to the two Porsches in the pit stop. So now he's coming up behind P1 Pilgrim. So ideally Chachillo needs to get by Pilgrim as quick as he can, but safely, you know, safely. Pilgrim ran it a bit deep there. I don't know if he's going to let Chachillo by. I think he did. That's very nice of Pilgrim if he did do that. So now Chachillo can just concentrate. He's on the racing medium, so he's doing his stint on the racing medium. I did wonder why he dropped back actually. So he's on the racing medium. Rob Smith and Nave both on the racing soft like me. So it's copycat. You know, it's copycat throughout this race. And the gap between me and Nave is now a 2.5. And again, the BMW, sorry, the Porsches were there all race. Chachillo as well. He wasn't out of the question. Unfortunately, lost a bit of ground in the pit stop. So now him and Chachillo are, you're looking at around about 3.5 seconds. So he's lost like 1.5 seconds in the pit stop. Slow Seamus losing a bit of ground, but you can see on the track map he isn't too far ahead, sixth place. So Slow Seamus, if he does it right, can close that gap, because the Merc has got really good top end. The Aston Martin of RMA has got the jump over Winnie. So Winnie on the racing medium, doing the stint on the racing medium just to get rid of him. Remember, 3 laps. You can do out, hot and in if you wish, or run it longer. The choice is yours. So P1 Pilgrim into the pits now. So he's extending that gap quite largely over his teammate in ninth. And Kiwi in the Beetle, without that slipstream, is struggling on the straight. In the corners, that car will outdo any other car in the Group 3, who just sticks like glue in the corners, but on the straight it hasn't got the best top end. Nath now still extending that gap over his teammate Rob Smith in third position, 2.2 second gap, and it's 3 second gap between me Me and Nate, fastest lap so far. Go through the laps. 3:04.476 by me. That was done early on in the race, lap number 3. Again, a purple sector for me. Nate 3:05.270, and he's got purple sector. Rob Smith 3:04.734. Chicillo 3:04.942. Guidon, sorry, 3:06.054. So Seamus 3:07.029. RMA 3:08.095. Winnie 3:09.747. P1 Pilgrim 3:09.789. And Kiwi 3:06.364. So he's actually quicker than a few of the cars ahead of him. It's just the fuel in that Beetle, it does overuse the fuel. So, going back to this, it's intriguing to see what's going to happen, because I can't remember what happened during this race. But what I can tell you is these two were not out of the equation. They were still looking for the win in this race. But I was doing all I can just to maintain that gap. And I've done a schoolboy error shortly, and you'll wait and see. I'll tell you more about it. So Rob Smith in third, Chicillo now falling back a bit. He's on the racing medium. But when we go into the racing medium, Chicillo's going to have the advantage over all three of us. So he could quite possibly come into play at the end of the race. We'll wait and see. Racing medium as well. Helicopter, what are you doing there, my man? Go away. So racing medium, racing soft, racing soft. So Chicillo's looking for the overcut on, I would say, Rob Smith and Nate. Will that happen? We'll wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. Finning GC Manufacturer Series, Season 5, League 3. As I say, League 3 has been fantastic this season. I just apologise for the delay in getting the replays out. Yeah, we've got League 1 and League 2. I haven't really seen much of... I've seen a few races from League 1, but I haven't seen a lot from League 2. I think I've seen one for Largo Magori early on in the season. But Kiwi is closing that gap too. P1 Pilgrim in 9th position, so 2.7 second gap. So Kiwi can see P1 Pilgrim is going to have to pit soon, remember. Because P1 Pilgrim has come out the pit, so whatever happens, Pilgrim's still going to stay in that 9th position. But Kiwi is on it. When he would do the racing media, I'm not quite sure. But he's trying to close that gap to P1 Pilgrim. Just to overtake someone, just have a bit of fun on this track, because it is long. Saint Croix, you know, Saint Croix, sorry, yeah, Saint Croix. 3:04.129 fast lap, improved a bit, but Nath and me is a 3.9 second gap, 2.224 between Nath and Rob and Chicillo on the racing medium. And getting rid of them. And what can he do? What can he do? I think he will close it, but I got a feeling these two here will battle, come into their own little private battle. So Seamus on the racing soft, still to do the racing medium. See, with it being a long track, Saint Croix, it's hard to talk about things. I'm trying my best to try and keep it going, the talking side of things, because gaps are appearing, and I know first, second and third they'll be battling now to the end. That's depending how this gentleman gets on in fourth. So you can see the gap on the track map top right. The blue is where the cars are. The lead runners are the front blue. It's like a triangle sort of an effect. I've got second and third behind. Down the bottom we've got the tyre information, the tyre wear, the fuel gauge, how much mileage they've done in that car, below the fuel gauge itself, and like the braking and the accelerator, and what assists they need, what driving aids they need. None technically. Rob there, headlights on, yellow headlights. Yeah, traction control there for a grid on there. Stowe Seamus not opting for that traction control. RMA traction control helps tyre wear as well, helps you manage that tyre wear even more. So Nave, second position, bringing it on late on in the season. So Rob Smith will be like, yes, you know, I am currently sitting in second, wait for me, Nate. But Nate's like, no, you know, I'm going to try and close that gap to Idle 4 Gaming, which is myself, not only in the race but in the championship as well. And let's see what they can do. You know, there's a few drivers what have had a win. We've had, like, Rob had 2, Nate's had 1, Guidon's had 1. I think I've had 1 or 2, I can't remember. But it's been interesting. It's not like one driver's dominated the season like it has been done. You know, like back in season 2 or season 3, I can't quite remember. A few drivers dominated and it was the same driver winning. And I mean, for some drivers, it did get a bit boring. So to mix it up in this league, it's fascinating. A lot of drivers say, you know, we're a similar ability. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But yeah, I mean, we've got new drivers that, you know, they're improving. I don't know Winnie. I don't know how long he's been racing for, but you know, he's showing good. He's doing good pace in that McLaren. He's jumping into the pit. So yeah, I mean, Beamer Man we've lost early on in the race. So I don't know what happened to Beamer Man, whether he's struggling around the track. So Slow Seamus will be the solo Mercedes for the remainder of the race. Sarah Exit, my teammate, he left early on. So the manufacturer's been dominating so far by the 2 Porsches. I'm trying to maintain that gap, but it's impossible. Drivers, fine, you know, I do what I can in the drivers, but manufacturer side of things, you know, I'm losing out on that. And Chichillo in the Jaguar is losing a lot of ground to 3rd position. Oh, 8.9 second gap. So that may have an effect come the next round of pit stops. It will be happening soon. Guidon slowly being caught by Slow Seamus. So 100% Slow Seamus has closed that gap to 5th place. 1.8 second gap. So that's doable for Slow Seamus. Let's see how he gets on for this section. Touch that grass on the exit as he entered, and that's snaking the rear of the car. Said every braking section, the right, sort of like a right hairpin. Yeah, a bit wider that apex, but he kept it in the 2nd gear when a lot drop it to 1st. So this bit here, what does he keep it in? 3rd gear, yeah, close to that curbing, and he's closed that gap to 5th position, as you tell, you know. Keeping it in that higher gear, keeping it close to that curb or the apex, is quite surprising how much time you can gain to that car in front of you. So drop it down for this section now. Can he do it again? 3rd. He's keeping it in 3rd, and then he's still keeping it in 3rd. Nice, and he's closed that gap again, Slow Seamus. So he opted for 3rd when a lot drop it to 2nd. I drop it to 2nd, but the Nissan has got the top end advantage at a minute around this section. But overall, in a straight line, this car will dominate the GTR. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, just let me know, but that's the way I see it. So Seamus and 5th place Guidon will be coming into their own private battle. RMA's on his own, so you know, he's just running his own race. Penalty, I don't know what for. That was minimal, quite harsh. Pilgrim in 8th, Winnie in 9th, and Kiwi in 10th position. So lap number 11, lap number 9 is when I done my fast lap, 3:03.684. So that's around about a second quicker than the 2 Porsches. But under a second between Rob Smith, because Rob Smith done a 3:04.347, but he's losing ground to his teammate in 2nd position. So yeah, Nath is on a different planet so far. He's like, no, I'm going to push it, and I'm going to try and close that gap to 1st place. So RMA into the pits, probably going to racing medium around about 18 minutes ago this race. Early in the morning, my lord, early in the morning, trying to still get with it. I need a quick drink at this moment in time, so let's go with here we go. Let's go in car with Slow Seamus. Slow Seamus now going to attack, but that ain't a great view. Oh, what happened there? Let's have a look at that again. Did he get it all wrong? Slow Seamus behind. Oh, run it wide on the exit. Oh, lost a bit of ground. He's letting Slow Seamus go. He's letting slow Seamus go. So slow Seamus behind, runs it a bit deep, pulls to the right and just lets slow Seamus go. I know he's on the racing medium, but each to their own. But I would have carried on battling there. Interesting there. Interesting. Bit puzzled by that. I know he's on the racing medium and slow Seamus on the racing soft, and he was gaining ground quite quick to sit place. But I still would have gave up a bit of a fight. But you know, each to their own. I'm not going to moan about it. You know, they're driving their own car. They do what they like. You know, Pilgrim there is 7th. Setting decals on the car as well, like It's Okay Not to Be Okay, Digital Car Culture, Infinity decals, We Are Driven, then mandatory like decals what had to be put on the car. Anything else you put on the car is your choice, but just be sensible, as long as it's not like no swearing, nothing like that, or some explicit things on the car. Because remember, these are this commentary is done out of our own time. You know, it's uploaded to our channel. It's then shared, so they don't want no feedback saying, "Oh, look at that swear word on the car," because it not have an effect on my channel, and plus, you know, there's some effects Infinity due to manufacturer series, and that's how it is. That's how it is. Just keep it sensible on the car. I mean, every livery in this league, this one here, what I done is just basic. Nath and Rob, nice livery from these two. Tuchillo as well. Slow Seamus with that bright colours. We've got Good on there. He's slowly closing. He's got loads of decals on that car. Pilgrim as well. P1RC community. Check them out on Facebook. RMA. He's got like British Racing Green on that car. So I'm not sure if that's actually stock. It may not be. It might be. Winnie there as well. P1RC and Kiwi there. It's Okay Not to Be Okay. We Are Driven Infinity GT Manufacturer Series on the back. 15 minutes ago this race, but in the meantime I need a drink. I do need a drink. So next round of pit stops will be happening. Regards to tyre wear, Nath has got more tyre wear than me. So Nath has pushed it after his first pit stop. Fuel side of things, he's got a bit more than me, and Rob's got a bit more than us both. So yeah, I did push it because I got the fastest lap, but it's trying to extend that gap. But this is what I mean about the mid-engine cars. They kept closing that gap in the middle section of this track, and that was the honest truth. That was a fact. So 15 minutes to go this race. It was like now or never, just to concentrate that bit more, and trying to extend that gap. Because in the pit stops, strategy wise, I don't really think a strategy. I just think as I go around the track and just hope and pray, see where I come. Sometimes I get it wrong, and other times I get it right. Nathan, Rob Smith, they seem to get it pretty bang on. Slow Seamus and Good on there now battling for that 4th position. See, Slow Seamus got the wider exit of that corner, so tight entry in, wider exit out, and when Good on there, he's kept it tight all the way around. So he's got the better line. So these two now battling side by side as they head down to this left-hander semi-flat corner. Slow Seamus got the advantage over Good on there. And what can he do? Can he keep it there? Can Good on there get the advantage over Slow Seamus? Now to the right hairpin, drop it down maybe to 1st or 2nd. He keeps it in that 1st gear on the exit. He's in a slipstream now. Keep it tight to this apex as you can. Slow Seamus has, they both have, so nice there from both of them. So now they're heading across the bridge now. Who will close this gap? Will Good on close this gap to Slow Seamus? Set to time coming up now, so he's lost a bit of ground. 1.5 seconds from his actual lap time, so he's lost around about 1.5 seconds there. So Slow Seamus snaking to the rear of that car, so grip levels in that car isn't great at the minute. So Slow Seamus almost into that barrier, but 5th place is keeping it there. He's keeping it there, you know, around about 2nd. A little bit out of the slipstream, but Slow Seamus, looking back from Slow Seamus, he will pit now. So we'll see again a repeat of the first round of pit stops. All the cars will go into the pit. So this battle now, 5th place is gaining to the rear of Slow Seamus. Can they get this move done as they go into the pits? They're side by side. There is a Mercedes of Slow Seamus who will come out on top of this. So Guidon down the inside. Will he put his move off? He does indeed, but they will be going to the pit, so that doesn't really matter. A little bit of contact there on the exit. So going up, pit stops are happening, refueling, racing medium, which they will be going on. This point here, so at the end, towards the end of that lap, I put it to lean 2. Yeah, it loses a little bit of power, but not massively. So I put it to lean 2 at the end, and I forgot to take it off when I came out the pit. So I ran lean 2 right about to the last lap, and not only when I flicked up to see the optimal lap time, I realised I was running lean 2 for quite a while, and I did wonder why Nath, you know, he was putting out a bit of a gap, and it was like, right, you know, what's going on with the car? It seems to have lost a bit of power, and I know the racing medium will have an effect on pace as well. But that's why I left it on lean 2, and I totally forgot to take it off until the last lap, until I started flicking up to optimum. So Rob Smith in that 3rd position looking to push, but Nave is like, yes, I got the jump over Darren. But as you tell, I've overfueled too much, so I overfueled, so that's why Nave got the jump on to me. And again, that gap's extended between me and Nave. Lean 2. Yes, great Darren. So in car with me now, round this right-hander. So looking at the miles per hour on the rev limiter, so Nath is already up to 120, 29, it's 140, and I'm getting there now, so I'm taking a lot more time to get up to reach the speed limit what he is. You can tell by the engine though, it isn't full power. So I wasn't getting a full power on the exit or the straight, so I was losing ground to Nave. I closed it because I thought, right, the tyres have got to warm up. That's why I'm going slow, and that's why I'm losing ground. So yeah, Ross Smith is in that vicinity now to close the gap to me on the racing medium. So now I thought Chichillo would have come into the mix between us 3, but he didn't on the racing medium because he ran it after his first pit stop for his 2nd stint. He lost a bit of ground, you know, he's into the barrier there. He's done a purple sector, so it come up by the timing. So yeah, I just feel Chichillo, if he'd done the soft racing medium, he would have been up there as well. But I just feel by doing the racing medium early, he lost that ground, which is very unfortunate. So I did want to see him back, but what we have got is these two still battling. Slow Seamus on the racing medium. See what I mean about the temperature? They got to warm up, get to optimum temperature, because when they're cold, they're not great. RMA in 7th position on the racing medium, but he's slowly being caught by P1 Pilgrim on the racing medium as well. So P1 Pilgrim is closing that gap to RMA, Winnie in 9th, and Kiwi unfortunately to the rear in 10th position, but he's still getting points for himself and his manufacturer. So Nath and myself, we're still 1 and 2, still under 2nd. So by sitting in that slipstream, by dipping me having it in that lead 2 as well, I'm still maintaining that gap, but and again increasing that gap to Rob Smith. So the battle of the win of this race, I would say, I wouldn't count Rob out. Don't count Rob out right about now, because he's still there. He's still there. He's waiting for them tyres to warm up. I would say the battle for the win is between me and Nath. So yeah, we'll come back to this. We've got 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes to go. It's been action-packed throughout the race, which it has been. Rob Smith now closing that gap to me, but I've extended it a bit. So it's right about the last sort of like 5 minutes, Rob put his foot down and he came out of nowhere. He thought, right, you know, I'm gonna put my foot down now, the tyres feel okay, they're up to optimum temperature, now I can push it out a little bit more. With myself, still in that lead 2, and I didn't realise, honest to God, I did not realise that was hampering me. If only I checked earlier on when I come out the pits and I switched it back to 1, I would have passed Nave. There's no doubt about that. I would have passed Nave. And I just couldn't close. I was like, God damn it, Carl, what's going on with you? So we're going in car on me now. And I have closed it because of the slipstream, but overall power, no. Because when you have 1-1, you get the full power of the car, and I wasn't getting that. It's confusing. So Rob Smith, he's there. You can see his headlights to the rear. So I look down the inside there at Nave. So Nave is defending, which is in his rights to do, from me. But again, that's enabling Rob to close up. So again, teamwork from these two is great. You know, so Nave is in the lead. I'm behind. Nave's braking earlier than what he would. So that's enabling Rob to close up in 3rd position. So Rob can see us too. So and again, you'll see that Nave braked a bit earlier, backed off a bit earlier than what he normally would. So that's enabling this gentleman here, Rob, to close that gap to me. Chachillo, he's far away. He's far away. So Seamus still battling away with the 5th and 6th, still battling away. They're a little private battle. RMA, Winnie, Kiwi, and Pilgrim into the pit. So let's focus on this for the last 5 minutes. I will go back to Slow Seamus again because it's quite interesting. So we go in car with Nave. Looking back to me, you see how early for me that he breaks a bit late there, 50 markable, but then he's got the pressure from me behind, and you know, I was just biding my time. It was just a matter of time. I think now in this situation, I think I do pull to the right and try and get that move on to Nate. So even though I wasn't getting full power, I managed to get the jump onto Nate there. But you'll see now by what I mean by Rob. So Rob, he at this point see me in 1st position, past his teammate, but Nathan's trying to come back at me there. So Nathan's trying to come back, but all the while Rob has put his foot down even more, and that gap is closing rapidly. So we got a 3-car battle for the win in this race, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 5 minutes to go. The SimFX GT's Manufacturer Series Season 5 League 3 on St. Croix A. And again, Rob Smith is 100%, you know, he knew what he was doing. He was playing that game. We've got 2 laps left. A bit wide onto the grass there, but you know, he was still pushing it, and his teammate Nath as well, and he's still staying with me. Remember early in the race I was extending that gap. Yeah, racing medium does have an effect, but you know, and again you could tell the way the car, how slow that car's going, it's not full speed from that car. Sorry about that stutter, I could get out of it. So I'll tell you the point where I was like, right, you know, I'm on lean 2, I'm losing ground because this gap is staying the same between me and Nate. You see, it hasn't extended and it stayed the same. Now Nate is in his prime opportunity now to jump onto me, and he's closing that gap, as you can see, closing that gap in the port, sat behind me, I'm in 1st, still closing that gap. The S section here is where I sort of like extended it a bit, because I perfected that bit, and as you can see it's a bit slidey. Yeah, the gap's still staying the same because of that lean 2. I didn't, you know, it's 0.8, so it did extend by around about half a second, but it's not going above that second mark. I was like, bloody hell, you know, sorry saying bloody hell, but I was getting really annoyed. So at this point here, was it this point here, or was it the last lap? No, it's the last lap, sorry. The last lap is where I realised I was on that lean 2. So Rob Smith gained 2 Nays. So the Porsches now want the win of this race. They want to dominate this race. They want to come 1 and 2. That's obvious. They not only want to extend the points for themselves, but extend the points for the manufacturers. Manufacturer, I think they secured anyway. They've been quite good in them Porsche, to be honest with you. So 1st, 2nd and 3rd, the time gap between 1st, 2nd and 3rd is under 2 seconds. So it's anyone's, absolutely anyone's. Rob, as I said to you, brought it on the last lap. So tyre wear now coming into effect from me. So we're all around about the same, but Rob Smith wants that position over Nathan. I'm pushing it now. So this point here, right? This point here, I realised, right, hello, you're in lean 2, so I switched it up to lean 1, and I did get quite annoyed, so that did affect my last lap. I couldn't concentrate. I was like, what have I done? Because I could extend that margin and maintain that margin to around the 3 seconds, which would have been better. So now Rob Smith is getting past Nath, so a little bit of contact there between them both. So Nath letting his teammate, I don't know if he let his teammate go or Rob went for that move, I'm not quite sure. So now Rob wants to close that gap to me, because these two here can feel they can win this race, but they need to get past the BMW. So we're going to go with Rob for the minute. So Rob is the lead Porsche runner at this moment in time. So you can tell I was like, you know, I was annoyed in this car, and I genuinely was, because if I took that lean off earlier, I would have extended that gap. And you know, Rob again closing that gap, and we're looking at 1.3 second gap, under a second now per sector there for Rob. So Rob 100% on for the win. But don't forget about Nath either, because Nath is in the mix as well. So Nath in the mix. We'll come back to this in a minute, because something happened. So Seamus and Good on there have now gapped. So let's go back to this. So Rob Smith ran his right-hander. I wasn't happy on the racing medium either. I didn't like the tyre, to be honest with you, especially around here. So yeah, I'm pushing it. I'm gonna go. Let's go like this. Let's look back at Rob Smith. So Rob Smith through his section now closed it. He absolutely closed this gap, as you can tell. Look how much he closed. You know, he was on for the win. He was like, right. So now for me, it was all about defending. He looked to the inside there, he had enough of a gap to go for it. I would have let him through if he did go for it. You know, I'm not one of them drivers to like over defend. If you're going to go for a gap, go for it, because I'll do the same thing. So now we're coming across the bridge. We're coming up across the bridge now. We're on the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Final lap of this race, and Rob is now flashing. I got enough fuel to get to the end. So this bit coming up now, I see Rob, so I pulled to the right. Just to defend. I kept braking, and then I went to this corner, and Rob hit that curb. So that affected Rob massively. So we'll come back to this again. Let's go out car view like this. So I pulled to the right. I'm in my rights to defend, and Rob just got it a little bit wrong. I kept it in tight. Rob went tight, but he done it a bit wrong, and he hit that curve, and he hit into the rear of me. It didn't help by hitting that curve, and unfortunately Rob, you know, lost that second position. We're on the last lap. It's unfortunate that, but Nath is now in attack mode. He's like, right, my teammate's falling back now. He did try to go for the win in this race, but now I'm going to try and go for the win in this race. So I thought I'd back off a little bit when I shouldn't have, because Nath was behind. So heading up to the final turn, I was thinking, like, should I back off and let Rob through? Was it my fault? But it wasn't my fault. You know, it's just one of them things. So now Nath, he's behind me. Close finish this. So Nath almost got first, but he didn't get first. I got the win. Nath got second. Rob got third. And then we'll have Torchillo coming around in fourth position. Great race though. Great ending to that race. Torchillo, half second penalty in that fourth position. Just getting rid of it before he finishes. So he's in fourth. Then we have fifth place Good on there in fifth position. Good race between him and Slow Seamus. So Good on there in fifth. Slow Seamus crossing the line in sixth position. Well done to each and every one of them. Great season. Check out my channel, subscribe, like, comment. RMA coming around in seventh position. RMA coming around now. Winnie's quite a way back. So RMA heading around the final corner now. Good race from RMA. A little bit of contact with Winnie, but that was sorted out. Seventh there from RMA. Very well done to RMA. Kiwi actually finishing in ninth. So RMA in seventh. Kiwi in ninth, and Pilgrim in the pits in 10th. But fantastic. You know, St. Croix. Again, the racing was close. And yeah, Affiliate GT Manufacturer Season 5, League 3, GR3 race, Group 3 race around St. Croix A. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, turn that bell on if you're enjoying it. And I do apologise for the delay in getting this replay out, but it is not out now, and thank you for viewing. Thank you. So when he just heading around the final corner to complete his final lap at this race, so P1 Winnie will cross the line in 8th position. So yeah, I got the win. They've closed that gap drastically. Little bit of contact between me and Rob. I just think by Rob hitting that curb had an effect as well. So Nath, Rob, Chachillo, good on there in 5th. So Seamus, RMA, Winnie, Kiwi, and P1 Pilgrim in the pits. So if you enjoyed that, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's St. Croix done. Appreciate you viewing. Thank you. Take care.